Welcome everybody to Funeral Nation episode 110. I'm Ryan Thogmart, and that is Jeff, the Funeral Commander Harbison, who is off-site today.
Yes, I'm suffering that I'm in sunny Scottsdale at a resort. We're teaching the Foresight boot camp here with a boatload of funeral home owners. So we have booties in town. So anyway, I'm at the resort. There's a little bit of traffic going by. So Ryan, we've got kind of an interesting show today because it's a lot of preview stuff. That's right. But this show doesn't get here unless it's with C&J Financial, correct?
That's right.
You know, Jamie's been doing some videos personally with he and his boys going to school in the morning, and we're going to have to show those at some point. But in fact, I'm giving a seminar this morning on accounts receivable. So the funeral's not over till you get paid, and you get paid a heck of a lot faster with C&J. So let's run the video.
What payment method do you prefer families use for your goods and services? Most funeral homes and cemeteries prefer cash check or credit card over life insurance as the preferred method of payment. However, families who use life insurance are able to purchase the funeral service of their choice and spend 31% more on your goods and services. By encouraging more families to pay with insurance, you can create a better experience for the family and become more profitable without increasing your call volume. The reason most firms prefer cash check or credit card over life insurance is that insurance companies are a hassle to deal with, and payment can often take weeks or months to receive. With C&J Financial, you can receive funding within 24 hours of verification of benefit, thereby eliminating the hassle, headache, and cash flow delay in processing insurance death claims. Let us show you why hundreds of funeral homes all across America choose C&J for their assignment funding needs, and why many associations, accounting firms, and industry leaders recommend C&J to their clients and members.
Awesome. All right, Jeff. Well, so let's kind of recap. You and I have both been insanely busy since ICCFA and really before ICCFA. Like trying to find time just to shoot 10 minutes of this show has been insanely difficult. So you've been putting out a lot of content. I've been putting out a lot of content. So let's recap some of that.
Well, we'll start off with ICCFA. From my perspective, I thought it was a pretty good show. There was good seminars. I thought the attendance was, I was concerned the first day, but it wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't bad. Yeah. We had really good traffic. Certainly, I was, for the first time in a while, I didn't see any wow cool stuff. Did you?
No.
Besides us?
Besides us? No. It really was kind of just mediocre at best from a just innovation standpoint, really.
Yeah, there just wasn't anything. You know, yes, it was a new urn that was blue that turned the world upside down, but there was nothing that just really was a wow factor. I did see video cemetery tombstone, that marker. That was pretty cool. Of course, I guess, you know, one of the highlights was Dan Sword walking around with a jacket on. That was a big deal.
I mean, that was the talk of the convention.
Yeah, guess what? We're going to see that next week, but we'll talk about it a little bit later because the bet has continued. So how about your perspective from the show?
You know, same thing. I didn't get out of the booth a lot, but the traffic to the booth was not great. I thought the attendance was okay. You know, it's interesting because ICCFA usually is the convention where we get a lot more progressive funeral directors that are there to learn. I thought seminars, there was a lot of good content. I heard the majority of feedback that I got about the convention that was positive came around the seminars, which honestly, I mean, that's really why funeral homes are showing up and cemeteries are showing up. But, you know, I thought it was interesting as I walked around, I didn't see all the big monument companies like years in the past. I think that is interesting. You know, typically you have 3 or 4 mausoleum companies that have miniature mausoleums set up, and you know, it looks like it was scaled back quite a bit this year from a dollar perspective. And I think, you know, I had a conversation with another guy in the kind of the tech part of the funeral industry, and the conversation resulted around we've got so much ability now as companies to put out information on our own in different places that we don't need to wait for every 6 months for ICCFA or NFDA to reveal the next big thing. We can do it whenever we want, however we want, because we've got the ability to blast it on social media and email lists and our own network. So I think that was an interesting point, where does it warrant spending $100,000 every 6 months for a booth at one of these conventions? So I think a lot of people are scaling down.
Yeah, you have a great point, because frankly, for the most part, especially this time of year, in the spring, rarely do we see anything new rolled out. It's toward the fall with NFDA. And you're right, technology will dictate. I can send you something immediately, a video, touch feel, you can see it.
Right.
And I think that'll be a topic about next week, maybe, that we'll discuss here in a few minutes. We'll share with everybody what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, you had some really good content with your videos over at Disrupt You, and one of them was about May. Share with me, if you will, just a minute what that was about.
Yeah, so we encourage people to do this one single Facebook post. If you don't even engage on Facebook and you're a funeral home, you want to get started with social media, do this one post in May. It will work, and you can throw a few bucks behind it and make it even more amplified. So we encourage funeral homes to do a guess to win. It sounds hokey. It is. Like, all we're doing is asking people to guess the number of something in a jar or a bowl. You know, I think the example we gave on the video was get a bunch of roses and peel off rose petals and put them in a bowl and have people guess the number of roses, and they win a dozen roses they give their mom, or something along those lines. When you do something like that, you'll get tens of thousands of people that will engage with it. And the value is not so much on the piece of content. The value is in the meaningful interactions that happen around that piece of content, because now those users that are commenting and engaging with that content are in the funnel of the funeral home. You can retarget them. You can do different things to reach that segmented audience that's already engaged. So that amplifies the rest of the content that the funeral home's putting out. So it will work if you do it, period. And it's something that we push a lot of our clients to do, and they scratch their heads like, what does that have to do with death care? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We're doing it to get the interactions from the consumer, to get them into the funnel so we can leverage that later.
You're exactly right. And guess what's going to happen if you do nothing?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. That's part of the seminar that we're having this week. And folks, the funeral home owners and directors that are being progressive, including vendors, right? Suppliers, we're winning.
Yep.
We're the ones that are winning out here. And, you know, if you're a competitor, just please keep doing the same thing over again, right? Because it's nothing. And I like it. You know, interesting with, speaking of nothing, I've created a seminar, or a video that folks will be able to see next week on Connecting Directors about no mirrors in funeral home. And the point being is that everywhere I travel, all over the U.S., with folks that come in, they say the number one problem is cremation. It's not a problem. The number one problem is us, because we're not addressing cremation correctly. That's right. And if you don't believe so, why is it not here, but at so many seminars, we're still talking about how to address and talk to cremation families? Look, if you don't know that, if you haven't done it, you're just lost. Why do we keep regurgitating the same thing? We should be moving on to other subjects rather than this. Anyway, it'll be on Connecting Directors next week. I look forward to some feedback, and I certainly will hear something about it, because bottom line is step on a few toes, but, you know, I've been shot at, big deal. So who brought us this segment of information, Ryan?
Sitch Casket Company. Sitch is a great sponsor of this show. We got to hang out with Cyrus at ICCFA and his crew, and they're doing great things and really disrupting the casket niche in the funeral profession. So let's roll that promo.
Funeral Nation is sponsored by Sitch Casket. Sitch has changed everything for funeral homes facing declining profits from cremation, with casket quality equal to the top domestic brands, but at half the cost or better. Sitch. Only your accountant can tell the difference.
All right, Ryan. So the dynamic duo will be together next week in sunny Jacksonville, Florida. We get to break out some sticks. We get to watch some sticks. I'm going to be smoking cigars. There's probably a libation down there that a pirate like myself will be able to deal with. Share with everybody what we're getting ready to do together.
Yeah, you and I are headed to Jacksonville, Florida, to hang out at a small invite-only seminar that Live Oak Bank has put together. And I guess it's not a seminar; It is a roundtable of some of the brightest minds in the industry from the supplier side, and we're really just going to discuss the nuts and bolts and state of the funeral profession as we know it, and how collectively can we take some of the top supplier brands in the profession and move forward to try to push the progressiveness and really push the envelope to better serve the consumers. It's interesting that on the supplier side, though we don't deal with the consumers every day, it seems like most suppliers are more in touch with what the consumer wants than the funeral home dealing with the consumers on a daily basis. So,
oh, you just turned into me, dude.
I did.
I'm going to need to get you a flat jacket. You know, Tim and Megan and the team there at Live Oak, I think this is a brilliant move. We just talked about a few moments ago one of the changes that need to happen in our industry. Like it or not, it's called trade shows. You know, there's too much money going out for some of the smaller locals, and the content, the reason for showing up. I don't believe that most understand how much it costs to do these things, especially when you get invited all over. So, yeah, I'm excited about next week. We will be live from there a couple times, and we're going to do some recordings. So our friends at Live Oak Bank, thank you for inviting Ryan and I. It may be the last time we get to show up somewhere together like that, sponsored. You know, we'll get to see Megan. You and I put some things together. We even had to change first time around with them. But you can guarantee it's going to be good content. You've got to stay tuned for it. Let's go ahead and run their promo, Ryan.
Live Oak Bank provides finance expertise that inspires funeral home and cemetery owners to grow their business and preserve their legacy. Their funeral home and cemetery lending team understands the profession from top to bottom. They know what business owners like you need to succeed, so they specialize in providing custom financial solutions accompanied by personal service. They're focused on helping you achieve your goals, no matter the challenges.
Well, Commander, I'm looking forward to seeing you next week in person. And then I think, you know, looking at my calendar and what you and I have talked about over the next almost 8 weeks, you and I will be doing this show remote from somewhere other than our office most of the time. So this is that busy season where things kick off and start popping, and ICCFA is kind of the kickoff. So it's where the money's made. You're going to be on the road. I'm going to be on the road, and we're going to be bringing change. And I look forward to spending some time with you one-on-one in the same vicinity next week.
Hey, you can count on it. And the great part for this next 8 weeks, we're going to have lots of different content. We're going to have some guests on. And so as we continue to refine, we're going to start bringing some more poignant subjects to the show that are going to be, frankly, hard-hitting. It's time to start talking about these things. So y'all effing take care out there. Thank you. And Ryan, travel safe. I'll see you in Florida next week.
All right, Commander. I'll see you soon.
Out here.